So today, I thought I'd make something a bit different. As you can tell by the title, this is going to be a TF2 video. TF2 content isn't really something on my channel, but it's a game I've played since 2012. And I thought that if I was going to talk about a game that basically shaped my childhood, I would do it on a topic that connects with me personally. Specifically, trade servers. Trade servers on TF2 are all practically the same. You go into a community server with a custom map and just do whatever. Trading is the main idea when going into these servers, but let's be honest, anyone who's played on these servers knows for a fact that trading happens on these servers like 20 to 30% of the time. Mostly people are just playing to play and doing wacky stuff. Nowadays though, the TF2 trade servers that existed between the times of 2012 to 2019 are practically gone. Now, some of those old servers might still be up, but they're basically abandoned. One server I played on regularly and even became a mod for had its specific reason for shutting down, one of which made sense to me at the time and still does to this day. And today, I wanted to take a look back at some of the servers that used to exist back then. Let's get into it. I wanted to start off by saying that the idea of trading on trade servers has pretty much died out in the modern day. There are still highly populated trade servers out there like UGC and Skyle, but with the introduction of trade bots and websites like scrap.tf, some servers weren't able to stay afloat with the new and improved systems created by the community. Now, I'm not saying these bots and sites were the sole reason for many servers shutting down, but it could, keyword could, have been a factor. Kinda makes me sad, honestly. I miss the old times of trading on these servers, but mainly going on to have fun with strangers on a server running a Minecraft map. You can absolutely still do this today, but the experience just isn't the same anymore. Well, unless you're on a highly populated server, that is. Then you'll probably find the same shenanigans going on now that occurred back then. Regardless, current servers aren't why we're here. Well, at least not right now. I'll get to them later. Trade servers back then were fairly simple. In fact, they still are. Run a popular community-made map or set list of popular maps, add in some rules, advertise as a trading server, and go from there. Some servers would add in the option to donate or even buy packages, granting donors things only they can do and use. But some servers took this a bit too far. In fact, the biggest example I can use for this is Gary's Mod. Some Gmod servers, to this day, allow people to buy ridiculous packages, giving the player an insane advantage over others. Some TF2 trade servers did this as well. They weren't crazy, like giving admin or anything. Oh wait, that's exactly what some of them did. Now, from what I can tell, we don't really see this anymore. I think server owners realize that giving admin to someone who paid $50 for it was a bad idea, especially if that person is an asshole hungry for power over others. Servers do still give donors some sort of advantage over other players like commands, but some servers have gone out of their way to make rules for those donors so they don't abuse the power they've been given. Honestly, the practice of accepting donations to keep a server running and giving something back as a thank you is perfectly fine. It only becomes problematic when you give that donor a bit too much power, like allowing them to basically be a staff member because they paid for it. I will admit, I am throwing shade at one server in particular, and it's Hell's Gamers. I basically became a regular on Hell's Gamers TF2 trade servers after the server I frequented shut down. I had tons of fun, met new people, and even made some friends there. But no matter what, the only thing I could never agree with is that they allowed people to have admin commands after they paid only $15 a month. You heard me, 1-5. The only good thing I can say about this package is that in the description there is a training guide you have to follow when using these admin commands. Back then, however, they only applied to their Counter-Strike servers. They do have a new guide made that seems to basically work for all their servers, even including explanations saying what works on what server. Personally, even with this being a thing, I don't think random players should be allowed to be given admin commands simply because they paid for it. If you want your staff to be better at their job, give them incentives and give them better training. Now, I didn't hate the server in any way, but that was ridiculous. In fact, you can still buy this package today. No longer is it $15 though, it's $20. And remember, it's still monthly. The only good thing I can say about modern day Hell's Gamers is that their servers are basically gone. How is this a good thing? Well, it tells the owner or owners that they need to change, move on and do something new, or at the very least, try something new. They no longer have TF2 servers at all from what I can tell, unless they rebranded in some way, and the only servers they have left are for Counter-Strike, Rust, and Gmod. Their website says they still have one TF2 server, but it has a max player count of 1, and I tried to connect to it, but it doesn't connect at all. Hell, some of their servers don't even have players in them, and some listed have a player count with a max of 0. So is the server up or not? If not, then don't list it. Despite my gripe with how they handle their donor packages, their servers weren't bad. Besides the TF2 trade servers, I even played some of their Counter-Strike source servers. Still had a ton of fun there too. It does suck to see that a server that was once heavily populated became nothing more than a memory and a relic of a bygone era. The same applies with the server I frequented. The only difference is mine shut down. With that, I think it's time I talked about Soda Happy. If that name sounds familiar, then stick around. Let me tell you my experience on the child-friendly trade server that shut down in 2016. Soda Happy owned multiple trade servers on TF2, all of which were child-friendly, so you couldn't swear. Honestly, looking back, it's a bit weird to have such a rule in a game like TF2, but hey, I had fun there, and that's all I cared for. The servers were owned by one guy who basically made the servers with this ruling mainly so his child could play TF2 without any sort of harassment. Now, I'm not 100% sure about that being the reason, but it is what I remember from back then, so I could be completely wrong. The server itself, though, was a trade server with crits. There wasn't much to it. I applied for a moderator position after some players I regularly talked to suggested I become one. So I thought, why not? Eventually, after becoming a mod, I dealt with players of all types. Mic spammers, trolls, cheaters, and the occasional player, probably under the age of 12, saying racial slurs. That last one didn't happen too often, but the fact it did still confuses me. Come March of 2016, the server would shut down. Some former members would try to put together their own server, but to no avail. These servers did exist, but they didn't last more than a few months or even weeks from what I know. I hope someone out there did make something that was successful, because it sucks to see ambitious people with a simple goal in mind just fail. As for Soda Happy shutting down, there is a legitimate reason. The owner stated he needed to focus on other priorities, and that's it. There wasn't any drama behind the scenes. Well, not any that I knew of, at least. But that doesn't matter now. It's gone. And I'll forever remember it for being one of the best experiences I had in TF2. So what about the current servers that are still up? Or even the empty ones? Well, empty servers are just that. Empty. For whatever reason, who knows? Current trade servers, however, they get by pretty well. Some don't see too many players, and some are basically filled to the max count. Some servers are filled with awesome people, like this UGC server that had a guy with over 200 secret Saxtons and used them all. Jesus Christ, he's still giving stuff. And some have these degenerates.
He's French.
Goddamn TF2, I love you, but the community is never fully sane, is it? Bigger and well-known servers are still thriving. People still play them and join regularly. With me making this video and grabbing footage for it, I found myself walking down memory lane, seeing both good and bad memories. But overall, I was happy. It was nice to see servers running the old Neon Heights Minecraft map still, even if Neon Heights itself is basically empty most of the time. It felt even better to see people actively playing, with only maybe a handful of people being AFK. I was reminded that the community of TF2 is probably the best out there when it comes to interacting with others. Don't get me wrong, there are some pretty scummy and dickish people in the community, but they don't outnumber the people that enjoy TF2. And those people who enjoy the game are playing the servers with other like-minded players, whether it's a trade server or not. Trade servers overall will be just fine in the long run. Hopefully. I say hopefully because you never know when the server will shut down one day for whatever reason. I do hope that TF2 and its community servers will be around for a long time. As long as there are players that want a fun experience that isn't casual, there will always be demand for a server with a different style of play. Community servers have offered that since they began, and I hope it continues. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you've played on these servers before, hopefully I sparked some sort of joyful memory. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.